Part 16. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 152. If you lose, die. Huolinger's words silenced the entire audience. Dare you? The great elder Xuanhuan suddenly spoke angrily and said solemnly. Do you want to die? How dare you speak to the Holy Sun like this? The elders of the Chess Immortal sect behind him also released powerful auras vaguely. However, Chen Xuanbei blocked them with a wave of his hand and sneered. Death? Haha, do you have such strength? I agreed. Accepted. He has no fear at all. Being able to escape from the world of black and white, he has long been confident that his chess skills are invincible in the world. Everyone in the heaven is stunned. Very good, I'll fight you. Among Tianyan's three chess masters, Bai Yizi was the first to speak and was ready to take action. Seeing this, Chen Xuanbei sneered and said. You. Let's defeat my slave first and then talk about it. He pointed at Zhang Li and said, Trash, go play chess with these ants. High and above. When everyone in the heaven heard this, they were all furious and furious. This is too insulting. Bai Yizi is the leader of Tianyan's three chess masters, and he is also a senior after all. But Chen Xuanbei actually let his minions deal with Bai Yizi? You go too far, you go too far. Bai Yizi was furious. Don't be angry. It's not that I look down on you, but that you are really not qualified. Chen Xuanbei sneered, looked at Zhang Li again, and said, Trash, why don't you come up? Zhang Li's fist was clenched tightly, but he could only slowly let go. His face was pale. In front of everyone in both worlds, being insulted. Once upon a time, when I was the Holy Sun, I never bullied others, never harmed the laws of heaven, and was tolerant and kind to others. Why did God insult me like this? He felt very sad. However, he could only step forward. Senior, please. He looked at Bai Yizi. Bai Yizi didn't know Zhang Li's identity, so he just thought he was a slave, and immediately said angrily. Okay. I want to see where you can get your arrogance. Play chess. Soon, the chess game is set. The two sides sit on both sides. Bai Yizi and Zhang Li took their seats on one side of the chess game. Senior is the leader, please take the first move. Zhang Li spoke, even though he was deeply insulted, but when he sat in front of the chess game, he calmed down, forgot about the honor and disgrace just now, and followed the etiquette of chess. However, Bai Yizi was still angry and said. You are just a gangster. If I take the initiative, wouldn't I be humiliated by you? Zhang Li sighed, said no more, and started playing with the black chess piece. Bai Yizi followed closely and started to make moves. With only a dozen moves, Bai Yizi was shocked. No, this chess player seems to have something. He was a little surprised. After reaching 20 hands, Bai Yizi felt extremely solemn. Because the opponent's chess position is actually connected, it has the potential to swallow up mountains and rivers. On the 25th move, Zhang Li reminded. Senior, please be careful, Junior will leave the central plains. Hearing this, Bai Yizi felt a little nervous. At a glance, he saw that the other party had indeed occupied most of the country. No. He was unwilling to give in and tried his best to defend. However, at the 32nd move, he had no choice but to abandon his son and stand up, saying with some trembling. I lost. As he spoke, he couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. He didn't expect that one day, he would be forced to have no way out by a junior with 30-second chess. This is a great shame. Junior is lucky. Senior, please don't be angry. Zhang Li couldn't help but get up and wanted to comfort Bai Yizi. But Bai Yizi staggered back and said. Go away, you are no more than a slave to others. I lost, but you can't even think of humiliating me. Behind him, the remaining two old chess masters hurriedly supported him. Hearing these words, Zhang Li's face twitched slightly, and he felt embarrassed, but he didn't say anything and sat down silently. Chen Xuanbei looked at Zhang Li coldly and said, "Slave dog, don't be so sentimental. Don't think I can't see it. With your chess skills, you at least gave this ant 9 moves. If you dare to waste my time again, I will kill you." Hearing this, everyone in Heaven Realm was a little shocked. Just now, Zhang Li actually gave Bai Yize 9 moves of chess. Real or fake? If true, that would be terrible. One of the three great chess masters looked at Mu Chenxi. "Miss Mu, among the three of us, Brother Bai is the strongest at chess. He is not the opponent, so we don't need to play. Now, please take care of me, Miss." Mu Chenxi nodded and said, "This junior is studying formations and has only a rough understanding of chess, but he must try his best." She immediately stepped forward to play chess with Zhang Li. "Girls, please play the first move." Zhang Li continued to speak, using the etiquette of chess. This time, Mu Chenxi was not polite. She has a sunspot and occupies the star position in the upper right corner. Zhang Li then made a move. This time, when both sides reached the 41st move, Zhang Li spoke. "Girl, your chess skills are already very advanced, I accept." After saying that, he dropped the last piece. Mu Chenxi watched the chess game for a long time and could only sigh deeply and said, "I lost." She stood up and stood down. "Lost another one." Everyone in Heaven Realm is under great pressure. On the side of Dining Jia Chess Immortal Sect, when they saw that Zhang Li had won the game, Chen Xuanbei, instead of praising him, said coldly, "I warned you not to waste my time. Do you think you can hide it from me by deliberately ignoring her 7 flaws? Come here, slap the mouth, teach this disobedient dog slave a lesson." Hearing this, the great elder Zhou Wenyuan stepped forward directly and lifted Zhang Li up. "You dog slave, how dare you disobey the Holy Sun's orders?" He slapped Zhang Li hard for more than a dozen times. Blood was already dripping from Zhang Li's mouth before he let go. Seeing this scene, everyone in the heaven was also shocked and surprised. This person won 2 games in a row for them, but he was treated like this. It seems true. This person really lost many hands to the old chess master and Mu Chenxi. Why is he like this? This man surnamed Chen has gone too far towards his servants. Even the people in the opposite heaven can't stand it. After all, although Zhang Li is an opponent, he has the air of a gentleman and is extremely polite. At this time, one of the 3 great chess masters said, "Hey, if the opponent is too weak, the strong one should concede 5 or more moves to avoid looking bad to the opponent. This is an ancient chess etiquette. I didn't expect that this person, a mere slave, actually abides by the ancient etiquette. I'm old man, what a surprise." Hearing this, everyone in the heaven was startled. The other party, is really giving in? This time, everyone was extremely solemn. This Zhang Li is just a slave. It's actually so powerful. Then what kind of chess ability should Chen Xuanbei have? How can this happen? Let me do it. At this time, Zioki Saint Luxing spoke. He had white hair and wrinkles on his face, but his eyes were calm as he stepped forward. The little chess master takes action, maybe he can be defeated. Everyone looked at Lu Xing expectantly. Lu Xing sat down. Seeing Lu Xing, Zhang Li felt a little sympathetic and said, "Brother, have you ever experienced a failure to survive?" He could see that Lu Xing had worked hard. This kind of, usually only happens when you encounter extremely difficult situations that require you to survive. Experienced. There seemed to be a feeling of depression between Lu Xing's brows that could not be eliminated. He stretched out his hand and said melancholy. I am the host, you are the guest, you take the lead. This time, Zhongli did not refuse. He is in charge of Kuriko. Both sides kept making moves. Play until move 45. The two sides were fighting hard to separate each other. By the 46th move, Zhongli discovered Lu Xingqi's mistake. However, he hesitated but did not attack. Instead, he made way for a great situation. Damn slave! Chen Xuanbei waved his hand, and Zhou Wenyuan immediately stepped forward and whipped Zhongli hard on the back. The iron whip caused a bloody scar on Zhongli's back. If you give him a hand, you will get an extra whipping, Chen Xuanbei said coldly. However, Zhongli gritted his teeth and said nothing. Lu Xing glanced at Zhongli in surprise. Please continue. Zhongli gritted his teeth and spoke. Lu Xing said nothing and continued to play chess. But then, Zhongli was whipped hard again. The third whip. The fourth whip. The seventh whip. Both sides played more than 70 moves. Zhongli's back was already covered in blood. Until the 90th child, the two sides were almost tied and could no longer fight. And Zhongli's back was already covered in bruises and had been whipped 19 times. At this moment, it's a draw. Lu Xing looked at the chess game and took a long breath. This game actually gave him a sense of relief, and the melancholy between his eyebrows became lighter. He looked at Zhongli, but couldn't help it, and said, "Why is that so? You already won. Brother is trapped by chess, and his life is not long. If you can get some relief from this game, you may be able to live, for a while." Zhongli spoke word by word, "You and I, are even." He opened his mouth, trying to smile. However, blood suddenly flowed out of the corner of his mouth. Lu Xing was shocked when he heard this. He took a deep look at Zhongli, then suddenly bowed and said, "Chess friend, saint, benevolent heart, Lu Xing is convinced. He speaks from the heart." Everyone in the heaven looked at each other in shock when they saw this scene. This young man, even though he is a slave, he is also very chivalrous and courageous. It's rare to observe chess etiquette. It's a pity that we are enemies. Hey, why is such a talented person born in a vicious sect like Xian sect? Everyone in heaven couldn't help but sigh. And Chen Xuanbei said even more coldly at this moment, "Kill him. If he wants to die, let him die." For Chen Xuanbei, Zhongli was just used to humiliate him and gain some pleasure. At this moment, the other party actually dared to disrespect his orders over and over again. Then, just kill him. When Zhou Wenyuan heard this, he stepped forward without hesitation, and with murderous intent on his face, he struck towards Zhongli and killed him with one palm strike. "Zuzi, you asked for this." With this palm strike, wind and thunder exploded, which was extremely terrifying. Zhongli is almost certain to die. Wait. At this time, Huo Linger suddenly spoke and stepped forward. The phantom of Lishan Palace appeared in her hand, blocking Zhou Wenyuan's attack. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Gui Xian. Chapter 153. Huo Linger took action and blocked Zhou Wenyuan's killing blow. Suddenly, everyone in the venue was startled. "We, the Chess Immortal sect, are cleaning up our doors. Do you want to stop us?" Zhou Wenyuan spoke coldly. "Let alone this small world, even in the dining world, no one dares to interfere with the affairs of their Xian sect." However, Huo Linger said coldly, "I don't want to get involved in the affairs of the Xian sect, but this person, Tianjia, have protected him." She looked at Zhongli and said, "Give you a chance to return to my heaven and break away from your original sect." Zhongli's tragic fate and his chess skills made both her and Mu Jianing feel compassionate. After discussing it, the two decided to save him. Another reason why they dare to do this is, Senior Li told them that he still needs to recruit a few apprentices. They discussed it one by one and found that Zhang Li was a very suitable candidate. As soon as Huo Linger said this, everyone in the room was very surprised. She actually wanted to save Zhang Li? Arrogant. You can protect the people our Qixian sect wants to kill. Zhou Wenyuan was filled with gloomy anger. This is already challenging the majesty of their Qixian sect. At this moment, even if the holy son Chen Xuanbei didn't say anything, he would destroy this world. Only in this way can the face of Qixian sect be maintained. When Zhang Li heard this, he was startled for a moment, but then he sighed and said, "Thank you for your kindness, leader, but life and death are no longer important to Zhang Li, and your world does not need to cause a bloody disaster because of me, a useless person." Just now, he was really shaken. But can heaven protect itself? It is impossible that such a small world will be destroyed in front of the Qixian sect. Agreeing to Huo Linger would only cause the heaven realm to be slaughtered. But Huo Linger said calmly, "If you are afraid of the Qixian sect, then I can tell you that in the heaven, you don't need to worry about anyone or any force." She is full of confidence. Lu Xing also spoke and said, "My dear brother, why do you miss this chess immortal sect? If you come to the heaven, you will have a better development." Seeing the firm and confident look on Huo Linger's face and Lu Xing's persuasion, Zhang Li was shaken again. Does the heaven realm really have any trump card that can challenge the Qixian sect? Damn it, what are Zhang Li waiting for? Hurry up and join them. At this time, Wu Dade, who was holding the black suckling pig in the Qixian sect's team, couldn't help but speak. Just now he saw Zhang Li being slapped and whipped, and he was already gnashing his teeth. Now, the Qixian sect actually wanted to kill Zhang Li. He really couldn't bear it any longer and dared to speak. Hearing this, everyone on both sides was startled. What is going on? Why is it that in the chess immortal sect, there are still people trying to persuade Zhang Li to leave the sect? Wu Dade, you pig-raising pig, how dare you speak here? Do you want to die? Zhou Wenyuan instantly turned around and roared, furious. If Wu Dade hadn't been raising pigs for the holy son Chen Xuanbei, he would have wanted to kill him with one strike. Chen Xuanbei also gave Wu Dade a cold look. When Wu Dade felt the gazes of Zhou Wenyuan and Chen Xuanbei, his heart suddenly trembled and he calmed down. Damn! It seemed like I was impulsive and hasty just now. It's over, it's over. I couldn't hold it back, so why did I say it? At this point, he was extremely nervous, so he risked his life, stepped forward and said to Huo Linger, "Two alliance leaders, can I, Zhang Li and I join you together? Although I can't play chess, it's useless at all, but I can raise pigs and dogs, I can raise anything." Hearing this, Huo Linger was stunned. Are you really a pig farmer? At this time, a woman in the heavens suddenly spoke in surprise, as if she couldn't believe it. The one who spoke was Xia Yao. With a strange smile on her face, she said, "Who said you are useless because you know how to raise pigs? Maybe you will have a great opportunity." Huo Linger thought for a while and said, "Can. Anyway, saving one is saving two is also saving." Hearing this, Wu Dade was very happy. Without hesitation, he threw the black suckling pig in his hand to the ground, stepped forward and pulled Zhang Li, saying, "Come on, the Qixian sect is going to kill you, are you still waiting to die?" Zhang Li was a little dazed when he was pulled into the camp of heaven by Wu Dada. He was still in a daze. "Did you betray the Qixian sect just like that? Dare you?" Zhou Wenyuan was extremely angry and said, "It seems that your world wants to declare war with our Qixian sect." The terrifying aura of his Tai Golden Immortal was immediately released. In an instant, countless cultivators in the field were so overwhelmed by this breath that they could hardly breathe. However, Huo Linger and others remained indifferent. Tai Golden Immortal? If it were in the past, I'm afraid they would really have no choice but to be helpless and desperate. But now, this is no longer a strange existence. Wait a minute. At this time, it was Chen Xuanbei who said with a gloomy face. Finish the chess game first, then talk. Zhang Li and Wu Dade made him very angry. However, killing the entire heaven is not what he wants. What he wants is the complete heaven and the unbounded chessboard hidden here. They're just two useless people. It doesn't matter if I give them to you. Chen Xuanbei looked at Huo Linger coldly and said. Now, can we continue the chess game just now? Is the bet between you and me still standing? Huo Linger said. Certainly. She looked at Xiaoyan. Currently, Xiaoyan is the only one on the court who has not made a move. His chess ability was also the strongest among Huang Tianzhou's, and he could break 4 chess games at that time. At this moment, Xiaoyan also had a sneer in his eyes. Finally, it's my turn. He walked forward calmly. Come on, Xiaoyan, will defeat you. Xiaoyan looked at Chen Xuanbei. Chen Xuanbei sneered and said. Just you. He stepped forward. The two sides started playing chess. Mr. Yang, help me. Xiaoyan spoke in a low voice. Yang Michen's voice rang out from inside his body, pointing Xiaoyan one by one. Xiaoyan immediately started making moves. Chen Xuanbei held the white piece in his hand and was extremely casual. Soon, both sides made more than a dozen moves. Huh? This person can actually fight the Holy Sun for more than 10 times without losing. Zhou Wenyuan was surprised. You must know that even within the Chess Immortal sect, there are only 10 people who can play more than 10 moves with Chen Xuanbei. This native of Xiantian Prefecture is actually very talented. At this moment, Xiaoyan was also a little surprised. After only a dozen moves, he felt that the time Mr. Yang spent thinking was obviously getting longer and longer. No. I am the protagonist of this world. I even have a golden finger. Who can be my opponent? He murmured, but he was still a little worried and couldn't help but say. Mr. Yang, can you beat him? Inside the body, Yang Michen said. Boy, the Chess Immortal sect is one of the branches of Wuhui Immortal City in the Central Immortal Domain in the lower realm. The way of chess is somewhat famous in the Immortal Domain. This man is the holy son of the Chess Immortal section. Whether he can beat him, I still have to decide. Uncertain. Hearing this, Xiaoyan looked a little ugly. Are you really the protagonist? He was growing suspicious. Why do things always go wrong every time I want to be in the limelight? Opposite him, Chen Xuanbei also had a look of surprise in his eyes. Can such a native be able to fight me more than a dozen times? It should be noted that he is the reincarnation of an immortal, and he is destined to be the protagonist. He immediately became serious. Played a few more moves of chess. You are too weak. Chen Xuanbei finally spoke coldly, and the last word fell. The situation is decided. Hey, this player's chess skills are too terrifying. Boy, just give up. I'm already trapped to death. Yang Michen's helpless voice came out, muttering. I didn't expect that there would be such a strong chess player in the lower realm, it's unbelievable. Xiaoyan's expression was extremely ugly. Was he defeated like this? He was unwilling to give in, but Mr. Yang had already spoken, and he didn't know how to play chess. I lost. He gritted his teeth and spoke, feeling very humiliated. As the protagonist, I lost again. The last time he lost to a terrifying existence, he could accept it, but this time he lost to a young man. He wanted to beat his chest. And ears. Chen Xuanbei sneered and said nonchalantly. Who else dares to fight in this world? No one can defeat me, it's time for you to fulfill your promise. He looked at Huo Linger and said word by word. Submit to me. Everyone in the heaven has a heavy look on his face. Leader, Let's fight. At this time, Holy Lord Yuan Yang spoke in a deep voice. Heaven must never be surrendered like this. Haha, I'm giving you a chance now, don't cherish it? Chen Xuanbei sneered, condescendingly. If you want to resist, I don't mind slaughtering this whole world. As he spoke, he suddenly took out a chess piece from his sleeve. It was a white chess piece, simple and mottled, as if it had been ups and downs in the long river of time for tens of thousands of years. On top of the white chess piece, there was even more presence, exuding a terrifying aura. This opportunity transcends everything and makes the surrounding space seem to become distorted. At this moment, everyone in the field was shocked. They all have a feeling that if this child falls, millions of lower realms will be annihilated due to it. Very horrible. What kind of chess piece is this? Why do I feel like I'm facing the Supreme Being? This, actually made me feel a breath that can rival Senior Li in a trance. For a moment, Holy Master Yuan Yang, Zhuge Shenlu, and others were all shocked. I know there are some treasures in you. Chen Xuanbei sneered and looked at Huo Ling'er. Just now Huo Ling'er was able to withstand the blow from Zhou Wenai Yuan Tai Golden Immortal with his perfect cultivation level, and he had already felt it. But, he doesn't care at all. It's a pity that all your treasures are just children's toys in front of me, do you understand? Surrender obediently and submit to me. This is the greatest opportunity in your life. His demeanor and self-confidence reached the extreme, as if he were the center of all sentient beings, aloof and aloof. At this moment, Huo Ling'er, Mu Jianing, and others also felt heavy in their hearts. The energy displayed on that white chess piece is really terrifying. Huo Ling'er felt that the hairpin might not be as high as the chess piece. After all, hairpins are just made from scraps. Lishan Palace may be able to compete with it, but her strength is not enough to activate the full power of Lishan Palace. She hesitated. The two girls, Chen Xuanbei, are the reborn ones. At this time, Zhang Li spoke and sighed. The reborn person is mysterious and unimaginable in his previous life, no matter whether it's chess or anything else, he can't compete with it. Reborn. As soon as these three words came out, the expressions of everyone in the heaven changed drastically. What, he's actually a reborn person. The reborn are also called people of two lives. Only extremely powerful beings in the previous life can be reborn. Once you are reborn, you are destined to have a chance in this life, and you will definitely be the protagonist in the world. No one can stop you. Everyone spoke in surprise. The legend about the reborn one is known to all worlds. When Xiaoyan heard this, he was even more startled. Reborn. Damn, no wonder. No wonder I can't even beat the opponent even though I have such incredible golden fingers as my portable grandfather. The other party is a reborn person, Goldfinger may be no worse than myself. However, I take my grandfather with me. The other party is reborn. In this life, who is the protagonist, myself or the other person? Who is the foil? Xiaoyan was confused. Reborn, no wonder, no wonder. Within him, Yang Michin couldn't help but murmur. When Huo Ling'er heard this, the pressure in her heart became heavier. It seems that it is impossible to suppress Chen Xuanbei by relying on himself and others. Now, it seems there is no choice. She glanced at Mu Jianing. Mu Jianing understood the inquiry in Huo Ling'er's eyes and nodded immediately. Who says no one can beat you? Huo Ling'er looked at Chen Xuanbei and said. In the heaven, there are still beings far above you. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 154. In heaven, there are existences far above you. Huo Linger's words immediately made Holy Master Yuan Yang and others' eyes light up. They all understand, this is the time to ask Senior Li to take action. Suddenly, all the tension, worries, etc. they had just felt were gone. Any reborn person is definitely not enough to look at in front of Senior Li. Chen Xuanbai sneered. Oh! Far above me? I would gladly grant him failure and death. Are there any enemies in the lower world? Impossible. Instead, he was looking forward to it. It seemed that he was about to get a clue to the unbounded chessboard. That senior never takes action, just wait here. Huo Linger spoke. My patience is limited, 3 days, I'll give you 3 days. Chen Xuanbai said indifferently. Huo Linger said coldly. If that senior took action, why would it take 3 days? After saying that, she turned to look at Zhang Li and Wu Dade and said. You guys come with me. Both of them followed her, Mu Jianing and others in confusion. Not long after, they left the chess stage and walked into the main hall. We have to go see Senior Li. I'll leave this place to you to stabilize it. Huo Linger looked at Holy Master Yuan Yang. Holy Lord Yuan Yang nodded, but looked at Zhang Li and Wu Dade and said. Are they going to? Huo Linger nodded and said, the two of them are relatively familiar with the situation of Qixian sect, and may be able to facilitate Senior Li's inquiry. Holy Lord Yuan Yang nodded. Then, Huo Linger, Mu Jianing, Zhang Li, Wu Dade and others quietly left Taiyan Holy Land. Fire Leader, where are we going? Wu Dade spoke with worry. Take you to meet an invincible existence. Not long after, they had arrived outside the small mountain village. Is there an invincible existence here? Wu Dade is full of doubts. Isn't this just an ordinary small mountain village? When Zhang Li looked at the small mountain village in front of him, he was suddenly shocked and said. No. Wu Dade, don't talk nonsense. He stared at this small mountain village, the look in his eyes was like looking at a supreme fairy palace, a supreme palace. What's wrong? I'm not talking nonsense. Is this really an ordinary mountain village? Wu Dade was puzzled. No. Your level is too low, you don't understand, you can't see it. Zhang Li's voice trembled a little as he said. The layout of this small mountain village is obviously perfect to the extreme. There is no flaw or flaw. In this world, there is such a perfect chess game. He was so excited that he suddenly stepped forward and worshipped this small mountain village. Huo Linger and Mu Jianing were both shocked when they saw this scene. What's going on? They all know that this mountain village is not simple. After all, it is the place where Senior Li lives in seclusion. But Zhang Li just took one look and actually fell into such despair? Could it be that because we are mortals with our naked eyes, we can't see? Mu Jianing murmured. Zhang Li, after bowing deeply to the small mountain village, stood up, looked at Huo Linger and the two excitedly and said. You two girls, please let me meet one of the seniors here, as long as I can meet him, I will have no regrets in this life even if I die immediately. If you hear the word in the morning, you will die in the evening. This is how he feels now. Because, he finally saw the supreme chess technique, perfect to the pinnacle. Previously, in his eyes, the new Saint Sun Chen Xuanbei's chess skills were already invincible. But now he understands that this is the ultimate place for chess. Hearing this, Huo Linger and Mu Jianing both looked at each other and smiled. Everything depends on the fate of the two of you. Huo Linger spoke and said, let's go into the village. Several people walked into the mountain village together. This layout seems random, but it is actually a perfect match made by heaven and man. If you can live here again, I'm afraid it won't be long before you can advance quickly on the chess path. Walking into the village, Zhang Li looked at the plants and trees in the village and was filled with emotion. But Wu Dade was extremely depressed. He is an outer disciple of the chess immortal section. He has a low level of cultivation and the only thing he is good at is controlling beasts. Therefore, it is completely undetectable. After a while, they finally saw the small courtyard ahead. The small courtyard feels like a paradise. The south wind is playing the piano, and the sound is soft and sweet, occasionally mixed with the sound of one or two swords. She is merging, letting the solemnity and tranquility merge, and the madness and elegance resonate. She is exploring her path. A few days ago, she had successfully crossed the threshold and entered the Tai Golden Immortal Realm. Among Li Fan's disciples, there are already 2 Tai Golden Immortals. Xuanhuan is like a sculpture, sitting by the fish pond every day. After this period of time, the koi in those ponds seem to be accustomed to his existence, and occasionally evolve something, which makes Xuanhuan gain a lot. Entry is fast. Qing Chen was still sweeping the floor. Occasionally, Li Fan would say a word or two to him, making Qing Chen fall into meditation again and again. Dugu Yuking, on the other hand, has made great progress in calligraphy. Since he obtained the battle sword of Wuji Immortal King, when he practiced calligraphy every day, he would hold the sword and harmonize with the great road in the sword. One character is the simplest and most basic part. If you want to practice calligraphy well, you must also do other basic skills well. Li Fan was giving him pointers and said, "Next, you can practice vertical." Li Fan raised his pen and then waved it. At this moment, many disciples clearly felt that it was like a divine sword was slashing. It's not a sword that opens the sky that spreads thousands of miles and opens up the world, but a terrifying sword intent that penetrates deeply and directly touches the soul, as if it can penetrate everything. It was as if all the heavens and the sea, as well as the void and the sea, would be cut vertically by the sword and divided into 2 parts. This is the supreme secret of swordsmanship, cutting. Dugu Yuking was shocked. At this moment, the broken sword in his hand actually began to tremble, as if he was surrendering to this terrifying sword intention. Dugu Yuking was silent for a long time, deeply understanding this sword. I have learned the sky-opening sword, but it is only the beginning of the way of swordsmanship. The way of swordsmanship controlled by the teacher is really as profound as the sea. He was filled with emotion and started practicing immediately. After teaching Dugu Yuking calligraphy, Li Fan continued to teach Xining how to read poetry. While reading poems, he occasionally glanced at Lu Rang, who was growing vegetables. Among this group of disciples, it was Lu Rang who made Li Fan feel the most complicated. Because he really loves farming so much. Recently, Lu Rang has taken great care of his pot of grass, watering it, exposing it to the sun, and taking care of it with great care. Even when he sleeps, he has to hold it in his arms. Li Fan really wanted to say, "This is a pot of grass, grass used to feed pigs and cattle, not flowers." However, he was too lazy to care. After all, as long as you like it, it's fine, and the potted grass is indeed getting longer and better, with plump and sharp leaves, which makes Li Fan feel quite satisfied. However, in the eyes of other disciples, Lu Rang is very scary now. Senior brother Lu Rang is so evil. He was able to get so close to that pot of grass. That pot of grass, one leaf can kill a golden fairy. The speed of mutation is getting faster and faster, who knows what will grow in the end. Everyone had complicated expressions. During dinner recently, Lu Rang put the pot of grass on the table. Even Dugu Yuking did not dare to compete with him for food. So scary. I really don't know what kind of heaven-defying existence this guy will raise. Gongya looked at Lu Rang every day, and she felt bursts of nervousness. And Xining was reciting the poem obediently. It's noon on the day of hoeing, and the sweat is dripping from the soil. Who knows dishes on the menu, a journey. When Xuanhuan was studying poetry recently, Gongya would also follow her, because she already understood that there was a certain avenue in the poetry taught by Li Fan that could be understood. Seeing everything in the small courtyard in order, Li Fan felt a little relieved and couldn't help but rub Xiaobai lying on his lap. Xiaobai has been very smart recently and often jumps up and down. Unlike before, he likes to sleep every day. Li Fan petted the cat gently, while Bai Xiaoqing meowed a few times and turned over comfortably. Li Fan was leisurely and contented, and lived his daily life leisurely. The only thing I occasionally think about now is recruiting disciples. There are still 4 more disciples left to reach the system's mission. It's a pity. It seems that there are very few people in the outside world who have weird hobbies like Lu Rang, Long Xuanhuan and others. Qian Ning comes to meet Senior Li. At this time, Mu Qianning's voice came from outside. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 155. Qian Ning comes to meet Senior Li. Mu Qianning's voice came. In the small courtyard, Li Fan also showed a smile and said, "Come in." Outside, Mu Qianning, Huo Linger and others immediately opened the door and entered. The moment I walked into the courtyard, Zhang Li's whole body shook suddenly, as if he had seen something incredible. This breath, this supreme chess skill, blends with all the ways, harmonizes with the heaven and earth. He trembled, completely trembled. If we say that in the small mountain village, he felt the perfect chess skills. So, the aura here, the Tao rhyme and principles involving the ultimate in chess, clearly made him feel that everything here surpassed perfection. It's too vast to look up at. So ethereal that it cannot be touched. Too profound to be seen. He felt like a drop of water appearing in front of the vast ocean. The only thing that can be done, is to worship. Meet Senior Li. Huo Linger and Mu Qianning stepped forward and saluted Yingying immediately. Li Fan smiled and said, "No need to be polite, I haven't seen you for a long time. By the way, who are they?" He looked at Zhang Li and Wu Dade. Feeling Li Fan's gaze, Wu Dade suddenly became nervous and looked at Zhang Li. However, Zhang Li just glanced at Li Fan at this moment. Then, with a sudden plop, he knelt on the ground and said, "Junior Zhang Li, hello sir. Today I get to see Mr. Zhang Li's supreme chess skills. I will have no regrets in this life." He fell to the ground and his words were full of admiration. The moment he saw Li Fan, he understood. All the rhymes of chess, all the rules of Tao. It turns out that they all come from the Senior Li in front of me. He deeply understands that the opponent's chess skills have reached a state of perfection. He may seem young, but he must be a chess master who overlooks the ups and downs of the world and watches the birth and death of heaven and earth. I can only treat these seniors with great courtesy. Immediately seeing this, he was also stunned. What's going on? Could it be that you came here to become a disciple? He looked at Huo Linger and Mu Qianning. Senior Qi, these two, are from the earthly Ming realm. Huo Linger opened his mouth and said, "Just today, a reborn person came to the Daiming realm. He has unparalleled chess skills and challenges the chess players from all realms. He was very aggressive and forced us to wait, saying that if no one in heaven can defeat him, he will have to become his vassal from now on." When Li Fan heard this, he was instantly shocked. What? Reborn? Li Fan had only seen the concept of rebirth in novels. And the reborn ones, are usually the protagonists. Could it be that I actually met the protagonist of this world? Li Fan was immediately filled with envy. Damn it, look at other people, they have been reborn in 2 lives and are extremely glorious, but my life is so miserable, so miserable. The 2 of them are named Zhang Li and Wu Dade. Zhang Li is the original saint son of Qixian section. Huo Linger then followed up and told Zhang Li how he played, how he was severely beaten, and how he finally betrayed the Qixian sect. However, she did not mention anything related to cultivation, because she knew that Senior Li was living in seclusion in the mortal world and had long been tired of things in the cultivation world. After hearing this, Li Fan was a little surprised for a moment. That reborn person is actually so cruel? Zhang Li just gave a few moves of chess to the chess players from the heaven realm, and yet he was beaten up and even killed? Even though he is the protagonist, he is too much, right? Now, Xuanhuan, Xiao Qi Sheng and other chess masters we can invite have all been defeated. Huo Linger sighed and said. So, I have to come and visit Senior. After they finished speaking, they all looked at Li Fan nervously. Li Fan immediately understood in his heart. It should have been the last time when Lu Rang was outside, he had pointed out Lu Rang to play chess, so Mu Qianing and others knew that he knew chess. This is where you come to ask for help. But, this time, it may involve something involving cultivators. After all, the other party is a reborn person. Li Fan has always been unwilling to participate in the affairs of cultivators. Because he knows that in the eyes of cultivators, mortals are just ants and can be killed at will. If I were not careful and was targeted by some cultivator, wouldn't it be a big disaster? It's better to stay in a mountain village and live your own life. But Huo Linger and others still have to help. After thinking for a while, he looked at Zhang Li who was kneeling on the ground. Since you understand chess, how about you get up and have a talk with me? Li Fan spoke. Hand talk is an elegant name for playing chess. He wanted to see Zhang Li's chess skills, and if possible, give him a little guidance, teach him one or two killing moves, and let him go back and defeat Chen Xuanbei, that's it? Lest you come forward and be resented by cultivators. Hearing this, Zhang Li, who was kneeling on the ground, was instantly stunned. He looked at Li Fan in disbelief, stunned. I have the opportunity to talk to such a being? What an opportunity is this? He couldn't imagine it. Mr. Zhang, why don't you get up quickly? Huo Linger also spoke happily. Senior Li obviously wanted to give Zhang Li some guidance and let Zhang Li take action on his behalf. After all, although Chen Xuanbei is a reborn person, he is no more than an ant compared to Senior Li. How can Senior Li take action himself? Zhang Li hurriedly stood up, bowed deeply to Li Fan, and said. How dare I show my embarrassment in front of Mr. You're welcome, come on. Li Fan said, Ziling, go find my chessboard and get some go. Because there is no opponent, Li Fan can only play chess with himself even if he occasionally gets interested. When playing chess with himself, he doesn't need a chessboard at all. The crisscrossing of the chessboard is all in his hands and in his heart. Therefore, the chessboard was gathering dust, and Li Fan didn't even know where to put it. Ziling got up and looked for it. After searching for a long time, she came over carrying a dusty chessboard. Master, I found it in the firewood pile. Ziling spoke somewhat complicatedly and said. But this chessboard was split several times by junior brother Lu Rang with a hatchet, and there are 2 cracks. When Li Fan heard this, he immediately smiled and forgot about it. I thought there were too many clutter, so I threw the chessboard on the firewood pile and planned to use it to light the fire. Fortunately, Lu Rang hasn't broken it into pieces yet, otherwise we wouldn't be able to find one on the chessboard now. It doesn't matter, as long as Xuanhuan can see clearly. He spoke. Ziling then placed the chessboard on the stone table and placed 2 boxes of chess pieces on both sides. It was a grey chessboard with clearly defined vertical and horizontal lines, and it was actually made of black and white lines. I don't know how many years have passed, and it has been left in the firewood pile for a long time, but there is no trace of fading at all. This chessboard is quite peculiar. There are no design boundaries on the vertical and horizontal edges. At this moment, there were clearly 2 knife marks on the edge of the grey chessboard, which was slightly cracked. Please take a seat. Li Fan spoke calmly. Zhang Li took a deep breath, bowed deeply to Li Fan, and then stood opposite Li Fan. The moment he sat down, his eyes fell on the dusty chessboard. Zhang Li suddenly froze again. He looked at the chessboard in front of him with an incredible look in his eyes. It was like seeing a ghost. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 156. Zhang Li just sat down and was stunned when he saw the chessboard. How could this happen? No, it's impossible. He muttered. The moment he sat down, he felt a sense of boundless vastness, as if he had seen a world without boundaries, where black and white were intertwined, and good and evil were intertwined. That is a terrifying manifestation of the Great Avenue. And, it comes from the great chessboard in front of me. The black and white lines are crisscrossed, boundless. Is this the legendary chessboard? In his heart, he was shocked to the sky. The Chess Immortal sect is by no means an ordinary section. It has followers in the immortal realm. It is a branch of Wuhui Immortal City in the central immortal realm. And Wuhui Immortal Lord of Wuhui Immortal City, is one of the strongest immortal lords in the central immortal domain. Prove immortality with chess skills. It was just because of this that the Qixian sect knew some secrets. As the holy son of the Chess Immortal sect, Zhang Li had also heard that, the immortal Lord Wogui was able to attain immortality only because when he was young, he followed a terrifying figure. I served that terrifying man for 3 days. In just 3 days, he became a generation of immortal kings. According to the legend in the sect, the immortal Lord Wogui has been obsessed with an artifact throughout his life. That was the chessboard used by a terrifying figure in the past. No one in the world has ever seen that chessboard. Even the Chess Immortal sect only knows that the chessboard is called Black and White Chessboard or Unbounded Chessboard. Black and white, the chessboard in front of me, isn't it the vertical and horizontal lines of black and white? Boundless, doesn't the chessboard in front of you have no boundaries? Moreover, this vast and terrifying aura. He was almost sure at this moment, this was probably the legendary chessboard. The chessboard is in the hands of the senior in front of me. So, is the senior? His pupils shrank. Not only him, but also Demon Commander Gongya and Xuanhuan next to him were extremely surprised at this moment. Demon Lord, isn't this the chessboard? Gongya spoke in shock. As a demon commander of the generation, she has also heard of some legends in the fairyland. This seems to involve a legendary immortal king. In history, there was even a rumor that this chessboard was in the demon realm, which led to a war between immortals and demons that lasted for thousands of years. Unexpectedly, this chessboard would be here. Pretty close. Xuanhuan's little face was full of complexity. This chessboard was actually thrown carelessly into the firewood pile by the elder brother, and cracks were made with a hatchet. If the giants in the fairyland knew about it, I'm afraid they would vomit blood directly. Li Fan felt a little embarrassed when he saw Zhang Li staring at the chessboard non-stop. After all, he was already like this and had 2 cracks cut out. He said. Ahem, this chessboard is a bit shabby, but it can still be used, so don't worry about it. Hearing this, Zhang Li reacted quickly and said. Senior's words are serious, they are serious. Shabby. Can this word be used to describe such a treasure? If you take it out, the fairyland will be turned upside down. However, when he saw the 2 cracks on the edge of the chessboard, his heart became more complicated. Such artifacts have long had eternal power and can be called truly immortal and eternal objects. No matter how time goes by, even if they are bombarded by the great avenues of heaven and earth, they cannot be damaged. But 2 cracks were made by the wood-chopping knife? What level of hatchet is it? The more he thought about it, the more he felt trembling. You are a guest, please take care of Hiza. Li Fan spoke. As you command. Zhang Li immediately picked up a black stone from the chess box. The moment he raised the chess piece, everyone around him was shocked. What a powerful chi machine. This chess piece is like a world. It has infinite power. If you throw one at random, it will probably be an unbearable weight for all the heavens and worlds. Terrible. Nanfan and others were all surprised. They usually watched Li Fan play chess with him, doing it casually and casually. Only now do I understand that this chess piece actually contains such terrifying power. As for Huo Linger and Mu Jianing, their beautiful eyes were instantly shocked. This kind of breath is more terrifying than the one in Chen Xuanbei's hand. Huo Linger was shocked. Senior Li really knows everything. Every one of his chess pieces is a supreme treasure. Mu Jianing's eyes were filled with admiration. But Li Fan didn't realize it, casually picked up a white stone and dropped it. When Zhang Li raised the chess piece, everyone clearly felt the terrifying principles of the world shaking, and the energy was trembling. But when Li Fan made a move, he was lucky, just like the most ordinary chess piece in his hand, without any energy leaking out. Natural and casual. Everyone was in a daze. No wonder we can't discover the secrets on weekdays. Master is as light as weight. To him, these terrifying chess pieces are no different from a grain of sand. Long Xuanhuan murmured. It is said that the giant Buddha can lift all the heavens and worlds in one palm. It is indeed true, the power of the giant Buddha can lift the heaven and the earth. Qing Chen was excited, his eyes seemed to be on a pilgrimage. Every move the master makes turns out to be the supreme avenue. On ordinary days, we still understand too little and are too superficial. Nanfeng also murmured. Both sides played several moves in a row. Zhang Li was solemn at first, but then he felt an unprecedented sense of comfort and comfort. He clearly felt that he was traveling in a world full of rules. It's like the soul has wings and is expressing itself freely. Unconsciously, he expresses himself and expresses himself to the fullest. He just felt as if he was riding a horse and galloping, as if he was flying through the sky and escaping from the earth. His expression was ecstatic and he had completely forgotten himself. The disciples around him were shocked when they saw this scene. How could he stay with Master for so long? Dugu Yuking looked at Zhang Li in surprise. He has seen Master's chess skills before. You can point out immortality at your fingertips. No matter how talented Zhang Li is, how can he be his master's opponent? Impossible. No. Master is guiding him, don't you feel that his aura is changing? He is not playing chess, he is clearly enlightening. Zai Ling opened her mouth and revealed the secret. She was most sensitive to changes in Dao Yun, so she noticed it. Everyone had complicated expressions when they heard this. This is actually the case. As expected, Master is giving guidance at random. As for Gong Ya, she was also filled with shock at this moment, muttering to this point. This boy is really destined to be given such a great opportunity by his master. She understood very well what this opportunity meant. In the past, immortal Wu Hui followed that terrifying existence for 3 days, but he was just a waiter and could not get the teachings of that terrifying existence at all. Today, Zhang Li was taught by Li Fan himself. If this spreads to the immortal realm, the immortal lord will probably be jealous. Soon, the chess pieces fell away. The chess game is over. Li Fan lost his last son. He was in a trance, as if he had withdrawn from his own world. At this moment, he woke up as if from a dream. He looked at the chess game on the chessboard and was stunned. What just happened? Have you already played a game of chess with this terrifying existence? No, this black chess piece, why is it so sophisticated? So profound? It has hidden murderous intent and countless changes. It can be called a game between man and nature. He was shocked, looking at black, almost doubting himself. Is this your own chess move? How could I have such a high level of chess skills? Even a sect leader would never be able to reach this level. He murmured, feeling unbelievable. But at this moment, opposite him, Li Fan smiled slightly and said, Now, do you know how to win against that reborn person? He threw the chess pieces in his hand back into the chess box. So casual and chic. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 157. Now, do you know how to win against that reborn person? Li Fan's words immediately made Zhang Li react. He understood instantly. This senior just now was giving me guidance. He looked at the chess game again. I saw that black's chess was flowing freely and evolving to the fullest. At this moment, many of the shackles he had on the chess path had been opened. As for the white chess piece, there was no sign of fighting at all. Instead, it was extremely casual and leisurely, as if it had fallen on the chessboard casually. However, he saw that the senior was using the white chess piece to guide him. Is this a chess master with unparalleled cultivation? On weekdays, teaching prayers always requires various disassembly and so on. However, this senior only used a game of chess. Let yourself realize the supreme secret of chess. The most astonishing thing is that the senior was just a guide from the beginning to the end. All evolutions and all realizations belong to Zhang Li himself. If Zhang Li was originally just a small seed, now Li Fan is letting nature take its course and guiding him to grow into a towering tree. Sky. This realm is unimaginable. He couldn't help but stand up, bowed deeply to Li Fan, and said, "Thank you, sir, for your great kindness. I don't know how I can repay you in this life." He was extremely grateful. "It's just a small effort, no need to say thank you." Li Fan smiled. Zhang Li's heart was racing at this moment. A bold idea flashed through his mind, and his heart beat loudly. After hesitating for a moment, he gritted his teeth and said, "Senior, Junior wants to. Junior wants to become your teacher." As he spoke, he knelt on the ground again. His eyes were full of anxiety and nervousness. He knew that his request was simply too much. For this kind of supreme existence, everything depends on fate, and forcing it will often be counterproductive. Moreover, the other party has given such a great favor, allowing me to improve my chess skills by leaps and bounds, and understand the profound secrets of chess skills. I actually want to take the senior as my teacher. I am really too greedy. However, he could not restrain his inner impulse. This is an incredible opportunity. If you can follow the senior and listen to his teachings, then you can really see the endless scenery on the chess path. The more he breaks through, the more he feels his own insignificance, and the more he wants to see the vastest world. Seeing this, Huo Linger and Mu Jianing both showed complicated expressions. Sure enough, no matter who he is or what he is, Senior Li can impress everyone. The surrounding disciples also looked at Li Fan. Will the teacher accept the other party? Li Fan was startled when he saw this. Want to become your teacher? He thought about it for a moment. Zhang Li's chess talent was actually pretty good. Moreover, I am now worried about the task of recruiting disciples. In addition, judging from the narrations of Huo Linger and others, Zhang Li's character is also passable and he is definitely not a treacherous person. Is there any reason not to accept the disciples who are sent to you like this? However, Li Fan suddenly thought of it. This Zhang Li has quite a lot of involvement. He defected from the reborn ones. Li Fan didn't want to get involved in the cultivator's affairs. Because he knows that he is immortal and cannot be offended. Thinking of this, he hesitated a little. This matter will be discussed later. You should go and settle the bet with them first. Li Fan spoke immediately. If he can return safely and is willing to continue his apprenticeship, then of course he can accept it. Hearing this, Zhang Li was stunned for a moment. However, he understood immediately. Senior, did not directly reject himself. But, gave yourself a task? After settling this matter, maybe I still have a chance? Thinking of this, he was instantly ecstatic. Very good. He hurriedly saluted Li Fan and said, Senior, don't worry, Zhang Li will go all out. Only by defeating Chen Xuanbei can we have the opportunity to become a disciple. At this moment, he was very excited. Okay, you go. Li Fan spoke immediately. Huo Linger and others are also very happy. Now that Zhang Li has received guidance from Li Fan, he will definitely be able to deal with Chen Xuanbei. They said goodbye immediately and turned around and left. Correct. At this time, Li Fan suddenly spoke again and said, when you are in the 71st move, you can actually evolve a killing move, just change the horizontal 9 into a vertical 10. However, this killing move will attract all your chess pieces and turn them into a killing array. It is quite vicious. Don't use it unless necessary. He warned. After all, he still hoped that Zhang Li could win. Hearing this, Zhang Li thought about it in his mind and suddenly looked shocked. Such a game of chess that I just played will turn into a horrible killing array. He once again felt the unfathomable power of the senior. Just one sentence can describe the supreme changes in chess skills. Zhang Li, keep this in mind. He spoke solemnly. Immediately, a group of them left. All the way out of the small mountain village, Zhang Li couldn't help but stopped, turned around and bowed to the small mountain village again. Zhang Li. Is this gentleman really so terrifying? Wu Dade spoke with some suspicion. He really couldn't feel it at all. He is obviously a very peaceful gentleman. He even looks like he is the same age as Zhang Li. Is he really that scary? When Zhang Li heard this, he gave him a complicated look and said, Junior brother Dade, you are actually quite happy. Why do you say that? Wu Dade was amused. Because you are too weak, you can't see many horrible truths. Zhang leaves the exit. Wu Dade. Taiyan Holy Land. Haha, it seems that your two alliance leaders have escaped with the two traitors. Xuanhuan spoke coldly. Half a day has passed, but Huo Linger and others showed no sign of coming back. It seemed to him that he must have run away in fear. But Holy Lord Yuan Yang and others were indifferent. Escape? Joke. Next, I'm afraid it's you who should run away. Holy Lord Ling Chao spoke coldly. Really? Half an hour, the last half hour, if they haven't returned yet, then don't blame me, I will kill you all. Xuanhuan's face was filled with murderous intent. He had long wanted to take action. In his opinion, Chen Xuanbei's insistence on playing chess was simply unnecessary. However, Chen Xuanbei is the Holy Son after all, and he dare not disrespect him. The leader is back. At this moment, a loud shout suddenly came. The mountain protecting formation opened, and several streams of light fell rapidly. The next moment, the streamer had already landed. Astonishingly, they were Huo Linger, Mu Jianing, Zhang Li, and Wu Dade. They're back. Suddenly, the eyes of everyone in the heaven were filled with hope. Leader, how are you doing? Does Senior Li have any instructions? Holy Lord Ling Chao spoke hopefully. Huo Linger said lightly. Senior Li has given Zhang Li some guidance. He will represent heaven in the battle against Chen Xuanbei. Hearing this, everyone in the heaven was instantly overjoyed. Haha, now that Senior Li has taken action, everything is settled. What's there to be afraid of this time? I want to see how arrogant the man named Chen is this time. Everyone spoke one after another. Huo Linger, Zhang Li, and others immediately stepped forward. I will fight for the heaven. Zhang Li took a deep breath and looked at everyone in the Qixian sect. There was so calmness in his eyes. Against his former sect, he didn't feel any guilt in his heart. Because it was Qi Xianzong who abandoned him and even wanted to kill him. A useless person, how dare you fight against the Holy Sun? You are not even worthy of being promoted by the Holy Sun. Xuanhuan scolded angrily. We, the Chess Immortal sect, are a loser. How dare we be so arrogant now? Zhongli, don't forget how the Holy Sun abused you before. Under the hands of the Holy Sun, you can't even take 20 hands. The other elders of Qixian sect also mocked coldly. Chen Xuanbei, on the other hand, looked at Huo Linger indifferently and said, whoever my opponent is, to me, they are all ants. However, my patience is limited. This is the last battle. If you lose again and dare not fulfill your promise, I will kill you and others. Huo Linger said lightly. You win first and then get arrogant. She looked at Zhongli and said, Master Zhongli, please. Zhongli stepped forward immediately. He sat opposite Chen Xuanbei. A year ago, he was still the holy son of the Chess Immortal sect, and the awakened Chen Xuanbei challenged him. It was the worst defeat in his life. In front of the reborn person, he has no power to parry. That also became the beginning of his humiliation. Now, he plays against Chen Xuanbei again. However, now he has more confidence, a kind of indifference and calmness. He has no fear. I am a person from the heaven, and you are a guest, please. Zhongli spoke calmly. Even in the face of enemies, he still followed the etiquette of chess. Haha, why are you pretending in front of me? Since you want to die, I will let you die. Chen Xuanbei's eyes revealed a murderous intent. He held the black piece in his hand and started making moves immediately. Zhongli also followed closely behind. Both sides played 7 moves in a row. And, did you know that chess kills people better than anything else? Chen Xuanbei sneered and said, today, I will let you try the killing technique of chess. His 8th son has fallen. Suddenly, the 8 chess pieces connected together, and a terrifying murderous aura instantly filled the chessboard. These 8 chess pieces formed a killing array. He is strangling Zhongli's chess pieces. The people around him also felt this murderous intent and couldn't help but look stern. It's scary. A small chessboard can actually evolve into such a powerful killing formation. No wonder some people say that chess skills can lead to immortality. This is just the beginning. There will be more and more chess pieces in the future. Once the momentum is established, I am afraid that countless people can be killed. Everyone in heaven looked solemn. Xuanhuan and others sneered. You deserve to die for provoking the Holy Sun. They are very disdainful. However, Zhongli remained expressionless at the moment. If it were him before, he would probably be unable to resist at this moment. However, now he is calm and continues to lose money. Chen Xuanbei chased Zhongli for several seconds, but found that he had a vague feeling that he could not lock Zhongli. Zhongli's chess game is like a swimming dragon, free and natural. I didn't expect you, this loser, to actually make some progress. Chen Xuanbei sneered and said, what a pity, you are still too weak. His chess style immediately changed, and his killing power resumed. In an instant, Dao Tao's murderous intent surged again. A terrifying killing array penetrated directly through the chessboard and enveloped the entire Taiyan Holy Land. In Taiyan Holy Land, some of the weaker cultivators could no longer resist and vomited blood. Those below the realm of true immortals should leave immediately. Huo Linger immediately drank coldly. Immediately, countless people in the Xiantian alliance hurriedly evacuated. It's too dangerous here. As the killing array intensifies, they may all be killed accidentally. Everyone in Heaven Realm is even more nervous. Zhongli, can it still work? However, facing Dao Tao's murderous intent, Zhongli remained calm at this moment. His mind felt like he was immersed in another world. In that world, he can express himself as he pleases. Boundless. Unrestricted. Even if dark clouds threaten to destroy the city, he can still roam freely for 9 days. What passed through his heart was the feeling he had when he played chess with that senior in the small courtyard. He calmly dropped another stone. When this move fell, Chen Xuanbei's eyes suddenly flashed with a strange color. The other party actually escaped from his killing array again. It's just, like a loach emerging from the mud, it can't be surrounded and killed. How long can you hide? Chen Xuanbei was already slightly angry. Next, he launched a series of killers. As soon as the sun fell, the space trembled, and the air was almost filled with murderous aura. One child after another from both sides. At this moment, even Zhou Wenyuan's expression changed. Impossible, how can Zhang Li have such chess skills? He was surprised. You must know that even the master of Qixian sect did not survive Chen Xuanbei's killing array. Could it be said that Zhang Li's chess skills are already above those of the master of Qixian sect? Isn't this amazing? The opponent had obviously only been away for a long time, how could his chess skills increase so rapidly? Below the gods, retreat. Huo Linger spoke again. The current killing array is so terrifying that even Xian can't stand it. And both sides are still trembling. Chen Xuanbei's every word was filled with murderous intent. The externalized terrifying killing array has enveloped the entire Taiyan Holy Land and is still expanding. Soon. Everyone, leave with me and retreat into the sky. Huo Linger spoke in a hurry. At this moment, even they themselves will be attacked and killed by the killing array. Similarly, Qi Xianzong and Zhou Wenyuan also immediately led their people to withdraw. In the entire Taiyan Holy Mountain, there are only 2 people left playing chess at this moment. Looking from a distance, the terrifying murderous aura has almost materialized. As soon as a child fell, murderous intent surged, and countless plants and trees on Taiyan Holy Land were suddenly destroyed at this moment. Another sun fell, and the golden immortal level mountain guarding formation of Taiyan Holy Land roared, but then turned into flying ashes. Another sun fell, and the entire mountain range of Taiyan Holy Land seemed to be cracking. Murderous aura even spread out, affecting the surrounding mountain peaks. It's too scary. Now the entire Taiyan Holy Land has been completely transformed into a terrifying killing array, even if Tai Golden Immortal enters, he may fall. Holy Lord Yuan Yang is extremely dignified. Is this the way to play chess? It's too scary. How long can Zhang Li hold on? He seems to have been escaping from the killing array. Everyone spoke, full of worry. Lu Xingdu sighed and said, even if you can escape for a while, the chessboard is limited after all. If you can't fight back, you will eventually be killed. Moreover, at this moment, both of them are already playing chess. If Zhang Li loses, he will probably be killed to pieces. As soon as he said this, the faces of the people around him became even more ugly. The Holy Sun is too terrifying, is the supreme killing situation about to happen again? Zhou Wenyuan spoke with some trembling. After Chen Xuanbei awakened, the Qi Immortal sect had informed the main sect of the Immortal Domain. Among the main sects, there was a senior who once played chess with Chen Xuanbei across the boundary wall. At that time, Chen Xuanbei showed such a killing formation. It is said that if the boundary wall hadn't stopped him, that senior might have disappeared from this world. At this moment, Zhou Wenyuan felt a similar aura. He understood, the killing was done. And Taiyan Holy Land is right in the middle. The murderous aura is boiling, as if it has materialized. My game is over, you ant. Now give up and admit defeat, drip your essence and blood, and be my slave forever. Tell me the reason why your chess skills have increased, and I will spare your life. The murderous aura on Chen Xuanbei's body was like a piece of armor, making him look like an emperor. He looked at Zhang Li with a cold heart. In fact, since his rebirth until now, Zhang Li is the first person to push his killing array to this point. This also made him extremely. Zhang Li's face remained calm. He looked at Chen Xuanbei and said, "Let's make a move." Chen Xuanbei's eyes were gloomy. "If you want to die, I will help you." He twisted the last piece and suddenly dropped it. In an instant, a murderous aura filled the entire sky like a destructive force. In the killing array, countless vicious soldiers suddenly emerged, including bloody Changji, sharp cold arrows, and sickles that cut human heads. Fierce soldiers gathered to slaughter Zhang Li. Zhang Li is about to die. It was at this moment that Zhang Li's words echoed again. When you are in the 71st move, you can actually evolve a killing move, just change the horizontal 9 into a vertical 10. However, this killing move will attract all your chess pieces and turn them into a killing array. It is quite vicious. Don't use it unless necessary. This is what Li Fan told him before leaving. At this moment, the situation is urgent. "Sir, Zhang Li, the time has come when necessary," he murmured. "Have to do it." He immediately picked up a white stone. Then, fall. Moment. Boom. On the chessboard, countless white pieces emit a terrifying bloody light. The terrifying killing array set up by Chen Xuanbei was annihilated at this moment. A more terrifying and larger killing array completely destroyed Chen Xuanbei's killing array. The murderous aura soaring into the sky permeated the entire sky, stretching across thousands of miles. Now, Dao Tao's murderous aura shocked the world. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 158. The murderous aura filled the sky above the entire Xiantian prefecture, and everyone in the world was shocked. Everyone outside Taiyan Holy Land was extremely horrified. What a terrifying murderous aura. Even the Tai Golden Immortal will probably be killed, right? It far exceeds Chen Xian's killing formation in the north. Is this a killing formation belonging to Zhang Li? Fortunately, this killing array is restrained and only targets Chen Xuanbei. Otherwise, in just a moment, I am afraid that countless of us will die. Everyone in heaven spoke in shock. Senior Li's random advice on a game of chess is so terrifying. Huo Linger was shocked. Although she had long known that what Li Fan taught Zhang Li was definitely not simple, the power that exploded out at this moment still made her feel incredible. What, is this just something Senior Li pointed out during a game of chess? Holy Lord Yuan Yang and others were even more shocked. Only Senior Li has such a level of cultivation. Du Shenlu said with emotion. Don't forget, Senior Li can point out the immortal existence with just one game of chess. Hearing this, everyone also had complicated expressions. Thinking of this, the shock in their hearts slowly subsided, and they felt that all this was acceptable. After all, he is Senior Li. As for the Qixian sect, Xuanhuan and others, they were all dumbfounded at this moment. No. How is this possible? The Holy Sun lost. Xuanhuan murmured, his old eyes full of incredulity. Zhang Li is just a useless person. Why can he win against the Holy Sun? He is obviously useless. He can't accept it. Such a result is unacceptable to him and the entire Qixian section. Could it be that Zhang Li, whom they dismissed as a useless person, is actually a real genius? Can actually crush the reborn? No. No way. If this is the case, then it is simply an unbearable loss and insult to their Qixian sect. Kill him, Chen Xuanbei, use that chess piece to kill him. Xuanhuan roared angrily. At this moment, he was really panicked. Zhang Li was so humiliated by the Qixian sect, so he must have a lot of hatred for the Qixian section now. He is actually about to rise. If he is allowed to grow, he will undoubtedly be raising a tiger, and I am afraid that the Chess Immortal sect will have another great enemy in the future. Never let it go. Must be killed. And Taiyan Holy Land is on one side of the chessboard. Chen Xuanbei stared at the chess game. His whole body seemed to be petrified. His pupils were gleaming with extreme shock, as if he couldn't believe the situation in front of him. No, no. How can you be so good at chess? Such a change is unparalleled and involves the essence of chess. Even I, at the peak of my past, couldn't make this move. No. He screamed. There was a hint of unwillingness on his pale face, and then he suddenly spurted out a mouthful of blood. Puff. He seemed to have lost his energy, and his body was trembling. My killing spree is complete. Zhang Li spoke calmly, if this one falls, you will turn into ashes. He picked up a chess piece. He looked at Chen Xuanbei calmly and said, do you have any last words? The terrifying killing array on the outside of the chess game has sealed the place, and no one can save Chen Xuanbei. The corners of Chen Xuanbei's mouth were filled with blood. He looked at Zhang Li with a crazy smile on his face. Last words. You ant, do you really think you can kill me? In the palm of his hand, the simple white chess piece appeared at this moment. With this chess piece, no one can kill me in this life. You beat me, but you can't kill me in the chess game. But I can kill you with this chess piece. He said ferociously. You made a bet with the leader of the Huolinger Alliance. You have lost and you should commit suicide. Zhang Li just spoke calmly. Bet. Chen Xuanbei burst out laughing and said, what bullshit? You want to restrain me just because of a bet? I have the strength to kill all of you, why should I be bound by a bet? He stared at Chen Xuanbei and said with a sinister heart. Where's the chessboard? Say it. You must have seen it. He didn't look defeated at all, but was threatening. Because he is confident that as long as the white chess piece is there, he is invincible. With absolute strength that crushes everyone in this world, how could he be willing to abide by that so-called bet? Moreover, he was sure that Zhang Li must have seen the unbounded chessboard. Only the unbounded chessboard can raise Zhang Li's strength to such a height so quickly. A mere Zhang Li, in just half a day, could achieve such an achievement. What if it was him? You must know that you are the rebirth of an immortal king. I am afraid that I can really cross that threshold and step into the order of the immortal king. His heart is burning. However, Zhang Li looked at him calmly. In this case, I have no choice but to make a move. The white piece in his hand immediately fell on the chessboard. Suddenly, a terrifying killing array and boundless aura attacked Chen Xuanbei. The space is shattered. The mountain collapsed. A crack opened in the earth. The white clouds floating over Taiyan Holy Land collapsed immediately. This is an unparalleled killing formation, a decisive attack that will make Tai Golden Immortal shed blood. Who can hurt me? Chen Xuanbei holds a white chess piece and forces out a drop of blood. He is awakening the chess piece. At this moment, the terrifying energy that transcended immortality suddenly fell down by thousands. The terrifying energy spreads throughout the heaven. Hundreds of millions of people could not help but kneel down and tremble in the direction of Xiantian state at this moment. What happened? Heaven, immortality, even the aura above immortality. Countless sects and forces were shocked. In the airspace of Taiyan Holy Land, even the elite members of the Xiantian Alliance were prostrate on the ground, unable to bear it. Only Huolinger and Mu Jianing could persist. However, their pressure also increased dramatically, and their faces were covered with sweat. Opposite them, a group of people from the Qixian sect were completely trembling. No. What kind of aura is this? Why is it so scary? Could it be that the chess piece? Xuanhuan froze. He looked at the white chess piece in Chen Xuanbei's hand and thought of countless terrible legends. Able to exude such a breath of transcendence and immortality. Could it be that it was a chess piece used by someone in the legend? No, Chen Xuanbei, what exactly is the origin? Xuanhuan suddenly felt a sense of fear. You must know that even the main sect of their chess immortal sect in the immortal realm, Wuhui immortal lord of Wuhui immortal city, has been searching for the footprints of that existence all his life. And Chen Xuanbei was actually able to possess a chess piece related to that existence. If word spreads, I am afraid that the immortal realm will be shaken, and immortal Wuhui will personally intervene. You forced me. With this white piece, I am invincible. I'm not afraid even if the immortal king is here. Chen Xuanbei smiled ferociously. His fairy power was injected crazily into the white chess piece. At this moment, he is protected by the great avenue of immortality and is invulnerable to all laws. Wisps of supreme aura were released, and the killing array covering this area instantly collapsed and ceased to exist. Zhang Li looked at Chen Xuanbei and sighed deeply. Is it possible that at this point, you still can't do anything to the other party? Trash, go to hell. Chen Xuanbei felt that his spiritual power was almost unbearable, and he had to kill Zhang Li immediately. But, that is this moment. The white chess piece in his hand let out a faint sigh. It's like a sigh from countless years ago, sent out across time and space. Suddenly, Chen Xuanbei's whole body froze. He subconsciously looked at the white chess piece in his hand with horror in his eyes. No. This. He seemed to feel something, and a touch of fear arose in his heart. However, before he could react, the chess piece suddenly took the initiative to suck his fairy power. Like a world-destroying whirlpool, it swallowed up all his spiritual power. At this moment, Chen Xuanbei fell to the ground. His muscles atrophied, his whole body twitched, and his pupils were wide open. But that simple white chess piece, having absorbed enough fairy power at this moment, suddenly flew in a certain direction automatically. That is, the direction of Kangli mountain range. The chess piece flew away, and in an instant, the terrifying pressure disappeared. Everyone in the scene was shocked and surprised, not knowing what exactly happened. The white chess piece involving immortality, actually disappeared like this. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 159. Chen Xuanbei activated the white chess piece and suppressed the entire heaven. The killing array set up by Zhang Li was eliminated and no longer existed. However, just when everyone was almost in despair and felt that there was nothing they could do about Chen Xuanbei, the white chess piece actually disappeared. Moreover, there seemed to be a faint sigh. This made everyone in the field stunned. Confused. The chess piece, does it still have a spirit? Chen Xuanbei meant to activate the chess pieces, but he didn't want to disturb the beings inside the chess pieces. How could this be so? Everyone in Heaven Realm was extremely confused. But Huo Ling'er and Mu Jianing looked at each other at this moment. They all have the same answer in their hearts. That chess piece was flying towards the Kangli Mountains. From this point of view, the reason for the sudden change of the chess piece is very clear. Senior Li. No wonder, although the chess piece is terrifying, it was already expected by Senior Li, so Senior Li didn't give any special instructions. Huo Ling'er murmured. It seems that Senior Li has determined that this chess piece will not cause any harm. Maybe there is some connection between Senior Li and this chess piece. Every time Senior Li takes action, it involves immortality. Mu Jianing was full of respect. Holy Lord Yuan Yang and others also had complicated expressions, and they could probably make a rough guess. In the heaven, the only one who can influence the immortal, is Senior Li. At this moment, the place had completely calmed down. The monstrous killing array caused by the chess game has been eliminated due to the resurrection of the white chess piece. As for Chen Xuanbei, he was completely unable to get up at this moment and his spiritual power was exhausted. Come here and destroy this world. Zhou Wenyuan reacted at this moment and immediately shouted. This world was completely beyond his imagination. It actually involves existence above immortality. Moreover, the white chess piece that was most likely related to the legendary immortal king actually awakened on its own initiative and flew to an unknown place. This is enough to show that this world is most likely related to the immortal king. This is so important. If it spread to the immortal realm, the giants would probably pay close attention. The more this happens, the more they want to take control immediately. Fortunately, there is not even a Tai golden immortal in this world. To them, it's just easy to kill. Hearing this, many elders of the Xian sect instantly erupted with terrifying auras. In addition to Xuanhuan, there are 2 Tai golden immortals. The others are almost all perfect level golden immortals. In terms of strength, it is almost a crushing strength against the heaven. Thank you very much, you ants, for giving us the Xian sect a great opportunity. He sneered, looked down at Huolinger and other powerful men from the heaven, and said word by word. Today, I grant you death. He slapped it out with one palm. Immediately, the terrifying palm power like a turbulent wave erupted in an instant, and the entire Xiantian state was almost shaken by this palm. The power of Tai Golden Immortal is so strong. The other powerful men from the Chess Immortal sect also took action. The expressions of all the heroes in the heaven changed. Too strong. Tai Golden Immortal, can't stop it? Yu Pashan and others were shocked. Even among the strongest people in Tianjiangtang, after all, there is still no Tai Golden Immortal. In the face of absolute realm suppression, even if they have obtained immortal level inheritance, they cannot make up for it. However, Huolinger stepped forward. There was no fear on her face, and a wooden palace suddenly appeared in her hand. The next moment, a terrifying shadow of a palace suddenly appeared above the entire Taiyan Holy Land, covering the whole sky. As soon as the phantom of the shrine appeared, the expressions of everyone in the Xian sect suddenly changed. Hiss! They all gasped. What's this? Xuanhuan's pupils shrank and he was extremely shocked. He clearly felt a terrible pressure, like an immortal palace. The aura even chased the chess piece that Chen Xuanbei took out just now. The shadow slowly falls. No. Why can't I use my fairy power at all? Why? No, can this shrine suppress Tai Golden Immortal? All the powerful men of Xian sect spoke in panic. Their bodies suddenly stiffened, and they were almost unable to move at this moment. Jianning! Huolinger shouted. Beside her, Mu Jianning turned into a stream of light and rushed towards Xuanhuan and others in an instant. There is already a wooden hairpin in her hand. She held the wooden hairpin and suddenly swiped towards the phantom of the shrine. The void is annihilated. Bang 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 bang. A bunch of golden immortals from the Qi Immortal sect instantly exploded into blood mist. Even Tai Golden Immortal was killed. No. Xuanhuan's pupils were filled with deep reluctance. He is the Tai Golden Immortal, an invincible existence in countless lower realms, but he died here today. The next moment, his head also rolled down. The Chess Immortal sect is completely destroyed. In the sky, blood mist drifted. Everyone in heaven was extremely shocked when they saw this scene. The 3 Tai Golden Immortals were destroyed like this. The cooperation between the 2 alliance leaders is too powerful. Linger Alliance presides over the Palm Palace to suppress everything, while Miss Jianning harvests quickly. The wood carvings and hairpins given by that senior are of unimaginable quality. They all spoke. Alliance leader, we must not keep this reborn person. At this time, Holy Lord Yuanyang stepped forward and pointed at Chen Xuanbei, who was lying softly on the ground. His spiritual power was drained by the chess piece, and his body was so weak that he was even twitching. No. Chen Xuanbei saw the scene that had just happened, and there was a hint of panic in his eyes. He understood it all now. In this world, not only do you not have great opportunities of your own, but there is great terror hidden in it. Even the chess piece showed something strange and flew away on its own. You must know that that chess piece was brought out of the world of black and white by him in his previous life, giving up his immortal life and risking his life. That is the chess piece of the legendary immortal king. Now he actually flew away on his own initiative. Does this mean that there is someone who can affect the immortal king? His intestines were filled with regret. If he was given a chance to do it again, he would never dare to enter this world rashly. Horrible. Give him death. Huo Linger spoke indifferently. Holy Lord Yuanyang stepped forward and said, yes. He blasted out with one palm. At this moment, Chen Xuanbei is already a useless person, and the golden immortal level palm of Holy Master Yuanyang can blast him to pieces. But, just at this moment, a black suckling pig suddenly showed a strange look in its pupils, and its body suddenly expanded infinitely. It blocked Holy Lord Yuanyang's attack. Then, its pig mouth suddenly picked up Chen Xuanbei, who was lying on the ground. The pig's trotters moved into the air, and the door to the void opened directly. The pig moved extremely fast, and the next moment, it had entered the gate of the void. Disappeared. Holy Master Yuanyang blasted the air with his palm, and the whole person was startled. Everyone in heaven realm was stunned. A black suckling pig, at the last moment, actually rescued the reborn person? That pig, we all underestimated it. Dugu Shenlu spoke solemnly. From beginning to end, no one paid attention to a pig at all. It doesn't matter. At this time, Huo Linger was very calm and said, the fact that he didn't die this time means that Senior Li is not in the mood to kill him yet, so he has nothing to fear. Hearing this, everyone nodded. Yes, if Senior Li is determined, no one can escape. This shows that Senior Li still intends to let this person go. Every move of Senior Li is involved in the most terrifying battle between heaven and earth. Even the reborn person may be nothing more than a chess piece worth mentioning in his eyes. Holy Lord Yuanyang, Holy Lord Lingqiao and others all spoke one after another. Let's go, it's time for us to return to Senior Li. Huo Linger looked at Zhang Li. Zhang Li's face suddenly showed a look of expectation and yearning. Huo Linger, Mu Jianing, Zhang Li, and Wu Date immediately headed towards the Kangli Mountains. They are very fast. Not long after, we almost arrived at the small mountain village. However, the next moment, they had to stop. What's going on ahead? The roads are messy and chaotic, as if the world is being reorganized. What's happening? Mu Jianing spoke in shock. Huo Linger also frowned and said, it seems like an ancient situation that we can't step into. They stared. Immediately afterwards, countless intricate avenues suddenly evolved into some kind of prototype. A series of simple and plain houses. A series of traffic lanes. A patchwork of scattered land. And above this scene, a white chess piece is rising and falling, as if it is dominating everything. I see. At this time, Zhang Li lost his voice and said, that chess piece is in a simulated mountain village. It wants to evolve, the perfect situation for a small mountain village. Hearing this, Huo Linger and others were also shocked. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 160. Zhang Li's words shocked Huo Linger and others. The white chess piece was obviously the one that flew away from Chen Xuanbei's hand. Now, is it simulating and evolving a small mountain village? The great road roared, and the principles of heaven and earth were manifested by it. It was just for this reason. Unimaginable. This chess piece, if I guessed correctly, it should have been used by the legendary immortal king of the past generation. Perhaps it adheres to his will. Zhang Li looked complicated and said, even for the will of a generation of immortal kings, the layout of this small mountain village needs to be looked up to. He couldn't believe it. You must know that immortal king is truly an invincible strong man. Proving the truth through chess is a legend among the immortal kings. It is said that he is almost reaching a state above that of the immortal king. Therefore, even the immortal kings in the immortal realm are eager for everything he left behind. Even because of a rumor that his chessboard was left in the demon realm, it triggered a war between immortals and demons for thousands of years. But now, the chess piece he left behind is simulating someone else's chess game. If you tell me this, who will believe it? Is there anything above the chess game worth emulating? Xuanhuan and others looked complicated for a while. The immortal king again. However, they have become more accepting of it. After all, I had seen it with my own eyes. Li Fan killed the immortal king's clone in one stroke. Boom. Suddenly, in front, the small mountain village evolved from the chess pieces suddenly collapsed. The small mountain village it evolved into is almost infinitely lifelike and almost completely reproduced. However, in the end, it still fell short. Not even that existence can evolve the pattern here. What a terrifying avenue this involves. Zhongli couldn't help but worship him again. And at this moment, ahead, countless avenues are still roaring. The chess piece was trembling. The next moment, the white chess piece suddenly shattered. Turn into powder. But a faint figure appeared. The figure is like a projection of time, which will disappear at any time. Vaguely, it can only be seen that he is wearing a Tai Chi Taoist robe, with black and white intertwined, yin and yang blending. That is a supreme being. He came from the long river of time and reappeared in this life. At this moment, countless avenues surrendered and trembled because of his appearance. At this moment, he was staring in the direction of the small mountain village. In the course of time, I dreamed of a perfect situation, which benefited me throughout my life. I almost climbed over that chasm and became the eternal immortal emperor, but what? He sighed softly, expressing an eternal regret. No one knows that he once dreamed of a perfect situation and became the immortal king. However, because the dream was incomplete, he was unable to reach a higher realm after all. I feel unwilling to do so. It's a pity that I have to see this situation today. It's just that when I just became the immortal king, I still can't evolve into this situation. He murmured, and finally sighed slightly and said, "That's all. Since we are destined, maybe we can meet again in the future. The other, more powerful me is still waiting in the years and will eventually meet." He suddenly turned his head and looked at Xuanhuan and the others behind him. His eyes fell on Zhongli. At this moment, Zhongli's body froze, and he felt that his soul seemed to be completely penetrated by this gaze. No thoughts can be hidden. You have cultivated my chess skills and accepted my chess gift, which is considered fate. Let me keep this in mind today. If you can meet another me someday, you will guide him here. This faint figure suddenly pointed out. A flicker of light suddenly penetrated into Zhongli's forehead. It was at this moment that Zhongli's mind suddenly understood countless secrets and truths that had been lost in the years. My wish is over, it's time for me to leave. The dominating figure in the sky and the earth muttered at this moment and suddenly disappeared into this world. He is just a projection towards the future, a trace of immortal obsession. What on earth is going on? Xuanhuan, Mu Jianing, and others were all extremely surprised. As for Zhongli, his expression was shocked at this moment. This is a projection of the immortal king of a generation, the black and white immortal king. He has been pursuing the perfect situation all his life, so he has left different projections at different stages in the hope of encountering the perfect situation in the future. He murmured, looked at the small mountain village, and said, "This is the perfect situation that the black and white immortal king once dreamed of when he was in the immortal realm. Unfortunately, his dream was incomplete, so he could only realize the immortal king, but could not ascend to a higher realm. Hearing this, Huo Linger and Mu Jianing were both shocked and stunned. Only. Mu Jianing swallowed a mouthful of saliva subconsciously. Gosh! Just dreaming about a game of chess can actually prove the immortal king. Now Zhang Li only uses the word can only, and it seems that he is very regretful. Unfortunately, the person who encountered the perfect situation today was the projection left behind by the black and white immortal king when he first attained enlightenment as the immortal king. Therefore, he has not yet been able to successfully evolve this perfect situation. He thought, that's why the other party left a mark on himself. When I encounter other projections left by the black and white immortal king, those projections will know everything that happened today and find. He has mixed feelings. I understand. Senior Li's height is probably the highest mountain in the ages, he represents the end of chess. He raised his eyes and looked at the small mountain village, feeling extremely determined. I must worship Senior Li as my teacher. Huo Linger and others immediately continued to move forward. They landed in front of the small mountain village and entered the small mountain village. Walking into the small mountain village again, Huo Linger Mu Jianing had a complicated look on her face and felt her heart surging. It turned out that the small mountain village they had visited countless times was so scary. Let the immortal king have to pursue countless years and leave behind so many projections. Thinking that every step they took fell into a perfect situation, their delicate bodies trembled slightly. And at this moment, in the small courtyard, Li Fan was drinking tea, feeling a little bored. I don't know what happened to Huo Linger and others. He is quite confident in his chess skills. After all, they were developed under systematic abuse. Qian Ning and others are here to recover. At this time, there was a knock on the door. Mu Jianing and others are back. Li Fan immediately showed a hint of joy on his face and said, "Come in." The four of them, Mu Jianing, Huo Linger, finally pushed the door open and entered. Seeing that they were not hurt, Li Fan finally felt relieved and said, "It's good to come back. How will this chess match end?" Hearing this, Huo Linger bowed deeply and said, "Thanks to Senior Li for your guidance, young Master Zhang Li defeated that Chen Xuanbei. It's a pity that Chen Xuanbei escaped." Li Fan was also a little pleased when he heard this. After all, Li Fan, Huo Linger and others were on good terms with each other, and they couldn't bear to lose to their enemies. Senior Qi, Zhang Li finally, evolved that killing formation. Zhang Li, on the other hand, spoke with great respect. Li Fan nodded and said, "It doesn't matter, let it evolve. In chess, you should not seek victory or defeat, but you must also have the ability to control the enemy. In short, Bodhisattva's heart is like Yama's method." Hearing this, Zhang Li was thoughtful. This senior was unintentionally reminding him again. He couldn't help it, and knelt on the ground with a plop, saying, "Senior, this junior is extremely determined to pursue the Tao. All of his efforts in this life are devoted to the Tao of chess. Please take in this junior. As long as he can serve his seniors morning and night, Zhang Li will die without regrets. He is so sincere. Now, he understands more and more what kind of existence is in front of him. What Senior Li represents is the pinnacle and perfection of chess that he has pursued throughout his life." Li Fan also smiled when he saw this. After all, Zhang Li's chess talent was barely adequate. Moreover, he still lacks disciples. He nodded immediately and said, "We are destined to meet each other. Since you are determined in the art of chess, I will teach you the art of chess." Hearing this, Zhang Li was instantly excited and overjoyed. This senior agreed to his request. Great, great. He couldn't help but tremble with joy, and kowtowed to Li Fan. "Thank you, master, thank you, master." When Nanfan and others saw this, they also smiled. There is another junior brother. Master's disciples are getting more and more lively. But at this moment, Wu Dade, who came with Zhang Li and others, was startled for a moment, and then he suddenly fell to his knees on the ground. "That, Senior, I also want to become your teacher, please take me in," he begged. Although his cultivation was really low and he couldn't see the depth of this place, let alone feel the terror of Li Fan, he understood that this was definitely an invincible existence. It is unimaginable that Zhang Li can defeat Chen Xuanbei in a random game of chess. You can't find such thick thighs in Qixian sect. So, he hugged him to death quickly. Hearing this, Li Fan was confused and said, "Oh? Do you also like chess?" Hearing this, Wu Dade looked a little embarrassed and said, "Senior Qi, I can't play chess. I only know how to raise animals, pigs, and dogs." He was afraid that this man would not accept him when he came, so he saw the white cat in Li Fan's arms and said hurriedly, "I can also raise a cat, Senior. I will definitely help you raise this cat to be fat and strong." Hearing this, Bai Xiaoqing in Li Fan's arms was stunned on the spot. Raise a cat? Fat and strong? Meow meow, don't do it." She hurriedly rubbed her head against Li Fan, licked Li Fan's palm with her little pink tongue, blinked, and looked at Li Fan pitifully. Li Fan smiled. Don't be afraid, don't be afraid." He touched Xiaobai's head and thought about it. In fact, the system had given him many animals for breeding before. He also raised some, such as native chickens, goldfish, etc. These are mainly tasks given by the system and must be completed. However, some of the other animals rewarded by the system were not forced to be raised. He always felt that he did not have time to take care of them, so he pretended not to see them and kept them in the system. For example, there are a few golden birds that look good, beautiful butterflies, and some weird ones, such as silkworms, etc. Pigs, there is no such thing, but there is indeed a dog. A little black dog. Zhang Li also looked at Li Fan nervously and worriedly, thinking that the master must be angry. He couldn't help gritting his teeth and said, "Master, junior brother Wu Dade, he left the sect because of me. He had no intention of offending master. Please allow him to live in the village or become a beggar. Even if he risks contradicting his master, he cannot ignore Wu Dade. After all, Wu Dade saved himself before." Hearing this, Li Fan smiled and said, "Why should I offend? As the saying goes, there is no distinction between education and distinction. No matter what your interests are, whether it is raising pigs and dogs, playing music, chess, calligraphy, and painting, there is no distinction between high and low. I do have a puppy that has been left unattended. So, you can stay and raise a dog for me. Anyway, let's get the system's tasks together first. Let's collect some heads first. The main reason is that it is too difficult to recruit disciples by yourself. In a world of cultivators, all those who have some potential go to become immortals. There are not many people who are willing to come to this remote mountainous area to be their apprentice. Even if there are, they are like Lu Rang, Long Xuanhuan, etc., who have relatively special interests and hobbies. This Wu Dade has special interests. Upon hearing this, Wu Dade immediately kowtowed. "Thank you, master, thank you, master." He was ecstatic. When Zhang Li heard this, he was also overjoyed. He had no idea that the master would actually agree. "Very good. Thank you, master." They all spoke one after another. Li Fan smiled and said, "No need to be polite, get up quickly. My lord, please wait a moment while I go to fetch that dog out for you." He got up and returned to the study. After all, his disciples were all mortals, and he didn't want to frighten them by taking out a dog in front of everyone. As soon as he thought, a black puppy appeared from the system at his feet. There is a chain tied around the puppy's neck. Woo! As soon as the puppy appeared, he immediately lay down at Li Fan's feet, licked Li Fan's shoes with his tongue, and kept wagging his tail to show his piety and loyalty. "Come with me." Li Fan smiled and took the puppy out of the study. "Come here, great virtue, from now on, you will raise this dog for me." Hearing this, all the disciples in the small courtyard looked back. When they saw the little black dog, everyone was instantly shocked. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 161. Li Fan led a little black dog out of the study. The little black dog rubbed its head against Li Fan's leg, looking extremely affectionate to Li Fan. However, Nan Feng, Zi Ailing, Qing Chen and other disciples were all shocked when they saw the puppy. What kind of dog is this? It's obviously just a cub, but it's so ferocious. Du Guyuking was very surprised. It feels like an ancient giant beast. I'm afraid this puppy has a big origin. Nanfeng also murmured. The bloodline and grade are probably not much different from those of a real dragon. Long Xuanhuan looked complicated. They were all shocked and surprised. Is this the legendary, kind of invincible dog? Gong Ya, on the other hand, was even more shocked. She subconsciously looked at Xianning, wanting to ask for confirmation. Swallow the sky and the moon, and can eat ancient beasts in the world, known as the Tengu. Xianning said solemnly. Tengu. Hearing this, Nanfan and others were even more shocked. Master is too outrageous. If you take out any puppy at random, it will be a beast. It has a big background. When Wu Dade heard this, his face was very happy. Although this dog looks weird, it is still a dog after all. Master, don't worry, I can do it. I have raised a ferocious lion dog with mixed blood before. He volunteered. When Zhang Li saw this, he fell silent. My junior brother, have too much heart, right? He had no idea what he was about to face. Wu Dade immediately stepped forward and was about to take the dog leash. However, the little black dog's eyes showed a fierce light at this moment, and he suddenly barked. Woof! Hearing this cry, Wu Dade was suddenly frightened and sat down on the ground. This. He looked at the little black dog in horror. Just now, he clearly felt like a giant beast staring at him and about to devour him. How can this be? When Li Fan saw Wu Dade like this, he couldn't help but shook his head secretly. What kind of apprentice did he have? He was afraid of even such a docile puppy. Don't be cruel. From now on, you will follow him. Li Fan said to the little black dog. Hearing this, the little black dog's eyes suddenly showed a pitiful and aggrieved look. He gently licked Li Fan's feet, seemingly reluctantly. But Li Fan stepped forward and handed the chain to Wu Dade. Wu Dade took it subconsciously, but his hands were shaking a little. Damn it, what kind of evil beast is this that you are holding? This puppy has just arrived and is not familiar with the yard. Please walk it. Li Fan spoke calmly. Wu Dade said, Yes, master. Then, he wiped the sweat from his face and took the dog for a walk in the yard. Leaving Li Fan, the little black dog suddenly showed a look of contempt in his eyes, as if he was very disdainful of the person pulling him. It held its head high, as if patrolling its territory. Suddenly, he only took a few steps. Woof woof woof. The little black dog suddenly yelled, with a clearly frightened look in his bark. The fur all over its body stood on end, and it stared at the group of chickens in front of it, not daring to take a step forward. One of the native chickens glanced at it lightly. You. The black dog immediately lay down, showing his surrender. When Wu Dade saw it, he immediately became happy. Oh, you are such a scornful fellow, so you are afraid of hens. Wu Dade immediately ran to the other side and asked Li Fan for a handful of corn to throw back to the native chickens. The chickens all swam over and ate the golden corn. Wu dash. The little black dog whimpered and almost trembled. Wu Dade was overjoyed. If you dare to hurt me again, I will bring you here and let you feel the despair of life. He laughed. Next to him, Lu Rang, who was planting grass, saw this scene and couldn't help but sigh. To be able to come up with such a plan, using a phoenix to scare dogs, is really a talent. What a talent. Soon, it's dinner time. Zai Ling and Nanfeng cooked the food and served it. These are all holy medicines. Zhang Li's eyes widened. Isn't this incredible? You must know that even if the Chess Immortal sect is a powerful force in the immortal realm, there is no treasure like this in the entire sect. Once upon a time, Wuhui Immortal City gave some quasi-holy medicine powder, which made the Qixian sect extremely excited, but now they still keep it and are reluctant to use it. But, here, the holy medicine was actually made into a dish. Eat whatever you want? Junior brother, when you first come here, you will be a little bit unaccustomed to it, but you will get used to it as you eat. As a senior sister, Nanfan smiled. Wu Dade was also shocked. What kind of treatment is this? I came here at the right time. He started eating like crazy. Boom. After just a few bites, Wu Dade's cultivation level rose steadily. From the Dongxi realm, climbed directly to Mahayana. Then, he broke through to the integration stage. Stepped directly into the realm of the venerable. The little black dog at the foot of the table suddenly became excited when he smelled the aroma of the food. He ran to Li Fan's feet, wagging his tail and preparing to beg for mercy. Meow. But at this time, Xiaobai in Li Fan's arms suddenly raised his paw and slapped the little black dog on the forehead. The little black dog was immediately stunned. Meow. Bai Xiaoqing made a warning meow. The little black dog seemed to have a sad and angry look in his eyes, but he could only turn around and return to Wu Dade's feet. The little black dog is so smart. He knows that the cat's family status is much higher than his own. Woof woof, woof woof woof. He bit Wu Dade's foot. Wu Dade lowered his head and the little black dog barked at his food. Wu Dade was busy eating and drinking, so he had to take a dog bowl and give some food to the little black dog. The little black dog immediately lay down and started eating crazily. At this time, Li Fan smiled and said, "I'm happy today. I'll treat you to a drink." He walked to the peach tree with a hoe in hand, waved the hoe, and soon dug out a pot of wine. Master brewed this 3 years ago, and it should still taste good today. He held the wine jar and placed it on the table. When Nanfeng and others saw this, their eyes lit up. The wine brewed by Master himself? It's definitely a good thing. They all looked at it expectantly. Li Fan immediately opened the wine seal. Suddenly, a scent of wine came out. The garden is full of wine. It smells so good, it smells so good. Just one whiff makes you almost feel sorry. Long Xuanhuan spoke in shock. This wine, clearly contains the power of the Great Avenue. Qing Chen couldn't help but be greedy. It smells so good, it smells so good, oh my god, I'm almost drunk. Zai Ling's big eyes were shining, she stretched out her wine bowl and said, "Master, I want it, I want it." "Don't worry, everyone has a share." Li Fan smiled and distributed the wine to the disciples one by one. "Wow, it tastes so good." After Xiling drank less than half of the bowl, her pretty face was flushed, and she was as beautiful as a peach blossom. She was drunk and naive, so cute. Her aura surged crazily, and she directly reached Tai Golden Immortal Consummation. Nanfan drank it in one sip, and her delicate body was instantly shaken. She felt a warm power, cultivating the Dao in her body. She was so drunk that she suddenly turned around and played the piano. She was also drunk, but while drunk, she realized the great way. Emperor Zun broke through the formation, his strength doubled, and he was unscrupulous, like a river rushing up to the 9 heavens. At this moment, she seemed to see an endless abyss in the sky. However, she was so courageous that she used the sound of the piano as a bridge, and countless ferocious soldiers condensed into a long bridge across the mountains and seas. She crossed it like a goddess from the 9 heavens. Her aura suddenly changed. Breaking through, the Deluo golden immortal realm. How can this be? In the crowd, Gongya looked at the scene and her beautiful pupils shrank. Nanfan, broke through, to the Deluo golden immortal realm. Deluo Jinxian, the immortal realm can be called an immortal general. In the demon realm, he is called the demon commander. This is less than a year. Under this senior, an immortal general has already appeared. Moreover, this immortal general has been influenced by the Tao all day long, eating holy medicines and drinking from holy springs. His qualifications are unparalleled, and his practice is even more supreme. Even if placed in the immortal realm, he is an invincible existence among thousands of immortal generals. Just when she was still in shock, Long Xuanhuan drank it in one sip and suddenly let out a loud roar. In an instant, hundreds of invisible golden dragon souls behind him were roaring and shaking the sky. At this moment, they were actually merging. He touched the edge of Deluo Jinxian. After Qing Chen drank, he fell drunk on the ground, with a smile on his face and murmured. The world laughs at me for being too crazy, but the world laughs at me because they can't see through it, they can't see through it. He closed his eyes and was drunk. At this moment, he was enveloped by Buddha's light. He also understood the Deluo way. One sword can kill 1,000,000 soldiers, one sword can destroy the immortal king. With this sword, why not travel around the world? Dugu Yuking held the broken sword tightly. At this moment, he looked up to the sky and roared, and the broken sword echoed with him. The sword merges with the person, and the sword become one. His breath boomed, and he also entered the realm of Deluo Golden Immortal. Lu Rang drank heavily, but he was shouting like crazy. His strength skyrocketed, from the realm of Xianxian to the realm of Heavenly Immortal, and then stabilized in the realm of Golden Immortal before he gave up. He is the weakest among all the brothers because he doesn't take the initiative to practice at all on weekdays. He is almost always planting grass and flowers. However, now I have reached the Golden Immortal consummation. Mu Qianing and Huo Ling who stayed to eat, also got a cup at this moment. After drinking, their auras also improved crazily, and both of them broke through to the Tai Golden Immortal realm. Zhang Li was dumbfounded as he watched each of his senior brothers and sisters break through. God, this is too scary, brothers and sisters, are all too strong. He muttered. Such strength. Not to mention the Chess Immortal sect, even if the entire dining realm came to kill them, it wouldn't be enough to destroy these senior brothers and sisters. Thinking of this, he felt extremely stressed. His cultivation level is considered powerful in both Dining realm and Qi Immortal sect, but he is only at the peak level of Immortal. Even the true Immortal has not yet entered the stage. He is regarded as a proud man in the Earthling world, but compared with his senior brothers and sisters, he is simply rubbish. He raised the wine bowl and took a sip. When the wine entered his mouth, all the bones in his body suddenly crackled, and layers of impurities in his body were evaporated. Ah! He let out a long roar with painful pleasure. His breath continued to rise. What a fairy! Xianxian finally arrived at the realm of heaven. Directly connected across 3 realms. Is this wine so terrible? Wu Dade was also shocked. He held it in both hands and drank it in one gulp. The next moment, all kinds of auras were gushing out from his 7 orifices. He shouted with pain, because his physical foundation was too poor, and this wine was reshaping his qualifications and potential. Gongya, you should try it too. Li Fan smiled and poured a bowl for Gongya. When Gongya saw this, she was extremely excited. Thank you, master. She was holding the wine bowl, her whole body trembling. What is in this bowl is immortal liquid and fine wine. Even if it's just a drop, it will trigger a fight among big shots in the outside world. Now, I have a bowl of it myself. She took a sip and her breath suddenly increased. She went directly from the 6th heaven of Deluo Golden Demon to the 8th heaven. Big brother, I want it too. Xuanhuan was also holding a wine bowl, her big eyes filled with anticipation. You can't drink too much. Li Fan poured her a sip. Xuanhuan happily took it and drank it. In an instant, her breath also changed wonderfully. In Li Fan's arms, Bai Xiaoqing was also excited when she saw Nanfeng and others leveling up. Meow meow. This wine is amazing. She rubbed her head against Li Fan and meowed, asking for wine. You can't drink too much. Li Fan smiled, dipped a little bit with his finger and fed it to Bai Xiaoqing. Bai Xiaoqing sipped Li Fan's fingers, with a hint of intoxication in her eyes. Even its breath is undergoing huge changes, breaking through the Tai Golden Immortal Realm. And at this moment, in the endless void sea, a black stream of light quickly traveled across the starry sky, heading in a certain direction without looking back. If someone could capture this scene, they would definitely find it extremely absurd, because it was actually a weird black suckling pig running away with a young man hanging on it. One pig and one person crossed the void sea and swept through the heavens. Until much later, the void sea gradually seemed empty and lonely, and the world shrouded in white mist was like a handful of stars, making it difficult to find them. On the other side of the void sea, I could faintly see a pitch black area. Here, it is already the intersection of black and white. It's the intersection of yin and yang. It is the boundary between immortals and demons. On the clear dividing line between Jingui and Jingui, there is a strange time rising and flowing. The black demonic energy and the white fairy spiritual energy are all gathered in it. It wasn't until it reached this point that the black suckling pig with a young man in its mouth stopped, placed the young man in the void, and ate it until it was fully clothed. The young man climbed up with difficulty. It was Chen Xuanbei. He looked at the black suckling pig with an ugly expression on his face and said, "What did you do when you brought me back here?" There was fear in his heart. This place can be called the most bizarre place in the void sea. He died here in his previous life, and he knew how terrifying it was. He absolutely does not want to have contact with this world again. However, the black suckling pig suddenly tilted its mouth and uttered human words. Let out the things inside, only those things inside are the opponents of the existence in heaven. Hearing this, Chen Xuanbei suddenly froze and looked at the pig in disbelief. This pig can really speak human language?